It is September, and the weather is finally changing. This is my first season in our new state. Coming from LA, I will get to experience true fall weather on the East Coast. Before all the fresh summer veggies disappear for winter, I decided to make my all-time favorite dish, tortilla soup. I am pretty obsessed. And I gotta say, there was a period of time my mom went on strike because she was sick of it. But I just love soup. It is my favorite. I could have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Plus, it's the perfect way to get a splurge of nutritional benefits. This soup has all the things, and you would never know. For the first part, I will be making the chicken broth and cutting up all the veggies for the broth. The broth will consist of carrots, red peppers, jalapeños, onions, garlic, and shallot. This will be part of the chunky part of the soup. Having your own homemade broth takes the soup to a whole nother level. With the season changing, I have been reflecting on my life a lot, particularly lost friendships. Growing up, I never fit in. I was always a little weird. I missed school a lot because I was sick, battling sickle cell, and I had a big personality. I often felt misunderstood and often judged by the other kids because I had green eyes. The white parts of my eyes were jaundiced from the sickle cell, and they used to call me green-eyed Grimblin. I wanted to be accepted so bad. I wanted them to think I was pretty and that I was cool and worthy of friendship. And because I had a deep admiration for my granny and her cooking, I wanted to be like her. I know I've told you guys that before. But she was so sweet. But also because of her homemaking skills, her home was the main attraction for all holidays and the gathering place for an afternoon dinner after Sunday morning church service. I can so vividly remember being a freshman in high school, working really hard at trying to perfect my cookie skills. I think I sort of subconsciously thought that if I got really good at baking and bringing treats to school, like chocolate chip cookies, it would be a way for the other kids to like me. I definitely have continued that into my adult life, always looking to bring something to the table in an effort to become indispensable in people's lives. I actually heard an old friend share a joke at her comedy session saying, "I cook, so I'm guaranteed an invitation." Relatable. Recently, I was cleaning my desk in my office and came across several photos of old friends and a few notes that one of them had given me. It caused me to stumble and become a little choked up. There are those few people that I have had in my life that I never thought in a million years I would not be friends with anymore. Isn't it strange how you look back in time and wish you could have handled things differently? I wonder if I would have picked up the phone and been honest about my feelings, if things could have gone differently. I didn't learn the lesson early in life that when, quote unquote, your brother wrongs you, you should let them know. I was that person for a long time who would never say anything when something got to me. But then after much time passed, I would explode, bringing up old issues in a new fight. I'm not like that anymore. Thank heavens, because in marriage, you've got to discuss the issues at hand, apologize, forgive one another, and move forward. It isn't fair to keep bringing up old issues in a new fight. And if you do, your marriage might be challenging. I've struggled because sometimes I look at all the broken relationships of the past and I look in the mirror and see that I am the common denominator with those people. I look back and wonder if it was all me, if I was the quote-unquote narcissist, our favorite word of the 21st century, that needed to change. I mean, I am an only child, so I can say that maybe I have been the problem at times. Of course, I think at a point in all of our lives, we are each the bad guy at some point. As the seasons change, I often ruminate on that quote. Out with the old and in with the new. I think about our society and how we're so quick to toss out people who aren't quote-unquote working for us anymore. We so easily let people go because of something they did. Something they said that we didn't get complete clarity on. We get offended. We take offense, when the truth is, their behavior or attitude probably had nothing to do with us in the first place, but we're sensitive and make it all about us. Well, maybe I should speak for myself. I've been sensitive. I'm guilty. I've written people off because I have felt unseen, unappreciated, overlooked. And I've written people off because I didn't have the courage to tell them what was bothering me. But I find that to be so sad. Sad that I didn't give them the opportunity, the benefit of the doubt, to make things right. It's sad that we let each other go when times get hard, that we let go so easy. With some that I have let go, if I'm being honest, I miss them. I miss their smiles, their comfort, the good times that were had, the dinners, the late night talks. I wish I would have had the courage to say, hey, I love you, and you said this thing that bothered me. Or you did this, and I need better understanding. Your friendship is so important to me. I value you, and I want this to work. Please tell me how I have offended you, because if I have, I want to make it right. The truth is, we desperately need each other. We need each other so badly. Life is hard at times. It can feel like a battle. Sickness, family trials, fertility, school, financial struggles, fear, anxiety, loneliness, low self-esteem. The list is endless. But then there's that bliss, too. The days where the sun is shining, money is in the bank, the family unit is thriving, the house is clean, just the way you like it. You feel so healthy, and you wish you could pause time and live in that space forever. Community through all these things makes life better, sweeter. For me, I have made a commitment that I want to be a better friend. I don't want to be the type of person who tosses out the old, particularly when it comes to people. I want to be that person who seeks to understand before seeking to be understood. I want to be in it with you and allow my relationships to stand through the test of times. I want to be more courageous in explaining my hurt in a loving way. I want to be a person who can also accept when I am told that I was wrong. I want the opportunity to fix it, and I want to give others that opportunity too. I want a deep love with the people who are around me. And deep love? Love that is everlasting sometimes requires discomfort, pressure, miscommunication, hurt. It deepens the love. I'm not talking about abuse or manipulation, but rather us learning that we are all different. And being that we're different, obstacles will come. We will undoubtedly offend one another. Difference in thought will occur. But can we overcome it? Because at the end of the day, we are all the exact same. We bleed. We want to know that we matter. That we are indeed indispensable. I went to see Mama Oprah at her 2020 Vision Tour. And she said something that so deeply resonated with me. She said, "Did you hear me? Did you see me? Did what I say matter to you?" She kept emphasizing this phrase for all of us. Did you hear me? Did you see me? Did what I say matter to you? I want to be someone who can truly show love unconditionally. A love that goes beyond the current condition of how I am being treated. I want to hear better. I want to open my eyes and take what you say to me to the deepest part of my heart. And I, in turn, want to be loved, even when I am being less than lovable. What would my life look like if I could be that way? It is a practice every day. Recently, my husband and I were out at Tractor Supply looking for a new trellis for our garden. As we were out, we came across this fitness center. It was a boot camp, and ever since we moved here, I have really been missing the community aspect of my workouts. My hubby, D, insisted I go in, check it out, and see if it would be a good fit. I went in and decided to give it a try. I did the free class and thought, this is exactly what I need. And on the particular day that I went to try the class, I couldn't help but notice that I was the only Black person in a sea of white women. Is it okay for me to say that? I don't feel any way about it because I grew up around a lot of white people. My mom sent me to a private school growing up, and there weren't really many Blacks. So, anyhow, on this particular day when I visited, there were a few people who really made me feel welcome. I was so excited because I figured I would really get to meet community here. And they really do believe in community. They celebrate every newcomer at the end of every class with a group photo. I raved about it to my husband. Dee was a little skeptical about joining, but I convinced him that he would love it and that there were men who also attended. To his surprise, he loved the class, and he decided to join. Often in this class, we have to pair off, and I decided if I was going to gain community, I needed to take myself to the opposite side of the room and go meet other people, and not just partner up with Dee. After all, building community was one of the reasons I joined. For the first few days that I separated from him, I had small talk with a few ladies, and it was, in the famous words of Samantha from Sex and the City, fabulous. I truly felt like I was starting to feel like this could be a great place for me. But one day last week, I separated myself from Dee and went to meet a new group of ladies. I partnered up with one of them, and we dispersed to do our workouts. I noticed that my partner kept disappearing from me. She would constantly go talk to her other friends, and it felt like they didn't want me there. I kept feeling like they were avoiding eye contact with me and were only chatting and high-fiving each other. Am I 5? A little bit, but my feelings were hurt. I felt left out a little bit. After class, I got into the car with my husband and said, "Babe, the white ladies don't like me. They didn't want me here because I'm Black." Could this have been true? Yeah, sure, maybe. But having that approach and thought in my mind was not very productive or loving. What about me? Was I doing everything I could to establish that bond? Maybe taking a moment to say to my partner, "Girl, I need you, girl. This class is hard, and you are motivating me. You're getting it." Or saying to her, "Are these your friends? How long have you guys been coming here?" You see, vulnerability has the power to break hate. Proverbs 15:1 reminds us that a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. How often do we become reclusive because we allow the negative thoughts in our mind to overtake us? We let the enemy convince us of things that are probably not even true. I'm not saying that maybe they didn't want me, but they didn't say that. After a lot of thought and reflection, I realized that so many people don't even live in the present moment. So many people are consumed with thinking about their own lives, and so many people are simply distracted. Ever since I deleted all the social media off my phone, I have noticed people are not all that present at all. I walk into a gym, and instead of people just taking a break in between their reps on certain machines, they go to Instagram or email. They fill every bit of empty space in their life. When you constantly fill all those spaces, you aren't truly present. You might not even be aware that you're avoiding eye contact. I am in no way perfect. In the case of the gym scenario, this is one example of making assumptions. Although the ladies of my class are not friends yet, I have made those type of wild assumptions before. Getting clarity is paramount. Being vulnerable is paramount. It changes everything. And when you live in that space, you can probably avoid being like me, looking back and missing old friends. Even in marriage, where I am learning to be a better team player, I learned a great lesson from my mom. Whenever her and I would argue, she'll say, "I love you. Can we be friends again?" I mean, come on. How can you stay mad when someone says that? You can't. My husband heard this interaction with my mom, and he stole it. So now when we argue, one of us will creep in and say, "Can we be friends again?" I do think it is really that simple. To be vulnerable. And if you are vulnerable, and the person standing across from you still doesn't want you, that is okay. I mean, whether you believe the Bible or not, Jesus was a great man, and not everyone wanted to be with him. He was a healer. He was a great friend, a miracle worker, a disciplined leader, and they stoned him. So it's okay. It's okay to say, "I love you," or "I want to be friends with you," and to not get it back. Reciprocation is not the point of love. To love unconditionally, beyond treatment, beyond reciprocity, is a gift that will only give back to you tenfold. It isn't always easy, but the friendships that I do have where our relationship has stood the test of time has been worth it. To know that you will undoubtedly get on each other's nerves. You'll offend each other. You'll be upset sometimes at the words that were said, the actions that happened. But to work through it is beyond rewarding. What about when you're the bad guy? I signed up for Bumble Friends and had a very lovely date with a new gal pal. We only had one dinner date before she invited me to her birthday party. I took about a week to get back to her to make sure that I was available to go. I finally RSVP'd, and I even paid the fee that was due to ride the boat with her and all the ladies. I was so looking forward to it. And I picked out her card and everything well over a month before I was supposed to attend. I was so elated to see her again and potentially meet some new friends. It was the weekend of her birthday, and I was all dressed up and ready to go. And as I walked out of my front door, reaching for the invitation, I realized that I had the date wrong, and the party was the following day. I ended up chatting with her over the phone and assured her that I would see her the next day. The next day came, and it was a disastrous day. Everything that could go wrong was going wrong. And part of me thought I should just go to her party and drop off the gift and leave. But I had a family member in town, and they told me not to go, that it would just draw attention to myself. So I left it. I didn't contact her. I didn't call her. I gave her nothing, and I didn't show up. The girl ended up texting me that night, and I had missed her text. Truly, I did, because I have 0 notifications on my phone, and I'm the type that leaves my phone in the other room. So the next morning when I woke up, I saw her text and profusely apologized to her for missing her birthday. In all honesty, I didn't think she would really care, because we had only had one girl date. I didn't think she was that invested in me. I was in awe when she wrote me back. She said, "I recognize things happen in life, but we are in an age of technology where you could have communicated, and I wouldn't have had to worry about you. I felt dismissed, embarrassed, and I am, quite frankly, pissed. I kept looking at the door thinking you would come in. The girls were confused as to where you were and also were looking forward to meeting you because I had told them how well we vibed." In a culture that signs off on thank you next, ghosting, and just tossing out the old and moving on with the new, I was delighted to receive such a scold. I wrote back to her with 0 defenses because there was no excuse. The day of the party, I had made a few assumptions. 1, that I didn't think she cared. And 2, I thought she would just decide I was a flake no matter what my story was. So I flaked, and it had nothing to do with her. I made the wrong choice to not even reach out. I totally knew better. It was just one of those days. I actually ended up telling her that I was so sorry that I missed the party, but I indeed was so happy that this situation happened. We had bonded on our first girl date, and we had talked about how people just disappear and never give you the opportunity to fess up to whatever they're feeling. She was so true to her standards that she would never do that. She was brave and let me know that she was hurt. And I am in a place where I'm mature enough to accept when I fumble the ball. We were able to reunite. I explained to her that I am a firm believer in you teach people how to treat you. I told her that I totally understood if she did not want to pursue friendship with me because of my actions. After all, I showed a complete lack of care. Well, I cared, but she did not have the details of what was going on in my personal life. All she got was the back of my hand when I didn't show up with 0 communication. What a beautiful gem I have found in this new friend. Someone who is bold enough to stand their ground, to firmly say, "Hey, this bothers me." I feel so blessed to start a new friendship with such openness and honesty. The easy thing would have been to ghost, to have an attitude of, I'll just start over on Bumble to avoid. I hope you know that yes, friendship is give and take. It's a bank. Sometimes you put money in, and sometimes you draw money out. As the seasons change, and you reflect on what stays and what goes, I hope that you will fight fair. That you'll give your sister Fran your true, honest feelings. Let her know how you feel about your friendship. The same way you check in with your spouse and assess your relationship, take those moments with those close to you and ask each other how you can improve. Don't be defensive. Don't let go of a potentially beautiful friendship because times have gotten hard. Dig in. And if you believe the person is worth it, and they probably are, have faith and trust that they can understand where you're coming from. Let's create a culture where we hold on to each other and we don't let go so easy. Let's believe the best, because that's what true love does. It believes the best. Lastly, know that you are so worth it. It doesn't matter if you bring the best chocolate chip cookies or the best tortilla soup to the party. It's you. It's your soul, your smile, who you are as a person that others adore. Your spirit. No need for all the extra. Just be you. And that, my love, is enough. 1 Peter 4, 8-10. And above all things, have fervent love for one another. For love will cover a multitude of sins. Be hospitable to one another without grumbling. As each one has received a gift, minister it to one another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. John 15, 12-13. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. Proverbs 19:20. Listen to the counsel and receive instruction, that you may be wise in your latter days. Colossians 3, 12 through 13. Therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved, put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long-suffering, bearing with one another, and forgiving one another, even as Christ forgave you, so you also must do. Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 10. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls, for he has no one to help him up. Proverbs 27, 5 through 6. Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Job 42:10. And the Lord restored Job's losses when he prayed for his friends. Indeed, the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Sisterfrennn, be vulnerable. Put yourself out there. Go make friends. Share a smile. Share your smile. Someone needs it.